Exactly.
You cozy boys.
So comfy right now.
Oh, of course.
I haven't been in this, Irving and I haven't been in this position since we talked about Transformers 3.
Oh, God damn it. And all I got to sit there was just
Happy
go,
times.
Oh crap.
holy Jesus.
Brad's mad.
Oh, God, he's pissed.
I'm not pissed at this one. We got
No.
back from Dark Shadows, and I don't. I mean, like, I didn't really like it. I wasn't mad. I wasn't like mad at it, and I won't go so far as to say I hated it, because if I hated it, that would have been, I at least would have had like a reaction, you know.
Yeah.
But I just kind of sat there the whole time, just. Not, I didn't think it was a good Dark Shadows movie, and I didn't think it was a good comedy either. Like, but I didn't hate them as either. I mean, I don't know, like, because I'm more familiar with the Ben Cross series, with the early '90s one. I'm much more familiar with that, other than the handful of episodes I've seen from the original. But the Ben Cross one I watched when it first aired, and I love it. I love the Ben Cross one. So I'm more familiar with that, and with this movie, I mean, like, the characters were all there. They were, and I thought that a lot of them really did fine. Like, I don't think that, like, a lot of them camped it up in the sense they kind of did, in that they were acting like they were in a soap opera, but I didn't think they went too over the top with it, except Johnny Depp, and that was my main problem with the movie. But you go ahead. You guys go ahead.
Here we go. I want to hear this.
Yeah, Brian's more familiar with the original than I am, whereas I'm more familiar with the '90s one.
When I was growing up, they were showing the syndicated repeats on Sci-Fi, so
Yeah.
I watched that a lot of mornings and really kind of liked it. You know, it was a good show. It was fun. It was
Yeah.
on after Lost in Space, so you know,
Sure.
why wouldn't I watch it?
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was really good. I don't know. It was just one of those shows. Like, yeah, it was weird soap opera, or whatever, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this, I mean, it was definitely a movie named Dark Shadows, but it didn't capture anything of the show. Like, it used names and locations, and that was it.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that some of the characters were similar. Like, Jackie Earle as Willie was pretty close. Even to an extent, Dr. Hoffman, I thought to a slight extent, could have worked in a Dark Shadows movie that was taken a little bit more seriously. And where it really lost me is that everyone else in this movie is acting in a completely different movie than Johnny Depp is.
Yeah.
That's where it really lost me.
Yeah, he just makes no sense. Like, there's never at any point where he even tries to seem like he's in the same sort of movie. Like
Yeah.
for the character, it makes no sense that he would make no effort to adapt to his new surroundings or anything. Like,
Yeah.
you know, he keeps talking just not even like ye old English. It's like the craziest
Yeah,
horse shit.
like-
This was some writer's excuse to make some clever dialogue, and it doesn't work.
Not really, because it gets kind of old. Like, I laughed a couple of times
it
when he
feels
called
really
it.
forced,
It's very.
too.
Like, I laughed a couple times when he called a couple characters a whore. Like, there were like a few times where I laughed in it. But yeah, that's the only two speeds that he has in this. Is one, he's using that kind of old dialogue, and that's like one of his only two notes in this movie, or the fish out of water stuff where he's confused by like cement and the television and a lava lamp. But all of that stuff, there's no context to any of that stuff. It's just stuff that happened. There's no lead up to him being confused by a lava lamp. There's just
Yeah, it's just suddenly like there's
Yeah.
this weird scene where he's like crawling up a staircase, peering into this room because there's a lava lamp.
yeah.
Like there's nothing to trigger that off. It's just
No.
and it's after kind of like it's a little ways into it. Like, you figure we would have already got like all the gags out of the way like that, but no, they keep putting him in there.
And when he's stunned by the biggest McDonald's sign I've ever seen in my life.
Mephistopheles.
Yeah.
It shows him reading this ancient tome like back in like the 1700s.
You're right, and that gag was so telegraphed. I mean, other than the fact it's in the trailer, but I mean, like...
But yeah, I mean, the thing that really bugged me about that is the fact, okay, he's reading this ancient tome.
Yeah.
And, you know, it talks about, like, above Hell's gates, there's a single letter, revealing Satan's name, Mephistopheles, and it's like going on to all this shit. And then he comes out from his coffin, and he sees this giant golden arches, and he's like, oh my god, that must be it. Despite the fact that it's a fucking McDonald's logo, so it clearly says McDonald's right the fuck across it.
Yeah.
It's right there. It's not like it's some like hidden subtext.
It could be a lot worse, honestly. Like, he could wake up from 200 years and the first thing he sees is a Hardee's. That would be a lot worse. At least he can enjoy a juicy fucking McRib. I'm just saying.
Not in 72 he could.
All right, a Big Mac.
Big Mac.
Yeah, a Big Mac. Or the nasty-ass gristle McNuggets they used to have.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I was kind of confused as to whether it wanted to take itself seriously or it wanted to be a comedy. It would jump so drastically.
Yeah.
You'd have like a comedic aspect, and then it just got dark.
Yeah.
I mean, which is fine. I mean, it's supposed to be dark, but it never could find a balance between, oh, our sight gags, and oh, hey, look, he's killing everyone. You know, it just doesn't. It
like
never.
He's smoking pot with hippies, and then like says he's got to kill them.
Kill them all. Yeah.
And you're right. It was a bizarre sit. It just was. Go ahead.
And it's like, no, it's every death. It switches like that. Okay, laugh. Okay. Oh, guess what? Now I'm killing you.
That's what I mean. Like, there are aspects of it that sort of seem like it's trying to work as a Dark Shadows movie. A lot more than 21 Jump Street tried being a 21 Jump Street movie. Because this movie really, it does follow plot points of Dark Shadows. And even some of the characters, they look and kind of talk like they are in a soap opera, but not to where it's a very cartoonish, over the top, like Johnny Lee Miller in this.
And that's what I was gonna do. Like, honestly, he was probably my favorite actor and his favorite character in this. And so, of course, he's not in the whole fucking movie. It seems like it's trying to really condense it in a way that, Last Airbender failed miserably at condensing a lot of material into a very short movie, because this movie could probably go neck and neck with how much fucking exposition dialogue is in this thing. Yeah, it's insane. It went fairly much, like they tried to condense all 5 years of Dark Shadows into this movie. How long was this? Hour and a half?
It wasn't even 2 hours. I mean, it was
couldn't have been
an hour 40, hour 50.
I mean, it was a quick set. It felt long at times, but it was a fairly quick set. Like, I don't know. It just even the minor details about it just really seemed to bug me. Like, why is he wearing this Cabinet of Dr. Caligari kabuki makeup? What the,
because it's a Tim Burton movie.
Exactly. There you go. That's exactly right.
In the original show, I'm assuming the Ben Cross one was probably the same, but the original with Jonathan Frid, he just looked like a fucking guy.
It's the same in the Ben Cross one too.
There was a brief little bit where his hair was a little extra I don't know, they had put a little too much Brill cream in, so it was kind of spiked a little bit like that, but it wasn't some fucking emo comb over shit. That was just too much. And the fact not just that he was all make-upped up to be just China white, but the fact that everything was just
Coke.
It's not bad. It's better than the Pepsi cucumber.
But the fact everything was this really overdeveloped, overexposed.
When he goes outside, he looks like Michael Jackson. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even he does. He's wearing the purple outfit and the hat and those glasses.
Well, and the fact too, if he's standing in front of a window, he'll burst into flames even through his clothes. But then he can just put on another coat and go outside and be totally fucking fine. Really, there's zero consistency.
I don't know. I mean, look at the cold weather. You know, I mean, if you go outside with no shirt on,
surprise!
Our review is darker than the movie.
If you go outside with no shirt on, you'll freeze more than if you have two coats on.
Congratulations, we just made a better Dark Shadows movie than they did, and it took all of 5 seconds.
Although I liked it when they worked the name of the movie in.
Yeah.
God damn it.
And so these characters don't really have room to be characters because there is so much exposition dialogue in this thing. They're all talking about he even does the Prince Zuko Zuko thing from Airbender where he says, "Tell me what you know about Barnabas Collins." And then she tells him what he would already know, but he only asked her that so we, the audience, would know.
Okay, yeah.
The whole opening 5 minutes is done in this narration summing up the entire backstory.
Which that whole bit that they did there, like,
Yeah.
like that covered fucking years in the series. Like, it took forever for the. Granted, it was an ongoing show, but
Yeah.
this was a show that aired every day, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Unless like national news hit.
Oh, yeah.
So they summed all this up in the course of like 5 minutes. Like, oh yeah, came over, built a house.
Well, but because of
Died.
all of this exposition dialogue, like, he and Victoria in this have no chemistry.
No.
Whatsoever. They're in, like, only 2 scenes together.
I was fucking blindsided. Like,
Yeah.
I knew that there was like the romantic, not even romantic interest in the show. He like practically fucking brainwashes her in the show to
Yeah.
get her to like him.
And
And in this, it was just like out of nowhere. It's like, I've always felt drawn here to you.
to you, and yeah, he's like, she's got good birthing hips, or something like that. Seems like, is that the only reason he's in love with her? Because he likes her hips? I mean, they're nice, but like,
provide
I think
many
there was,
babies.
I seem to recall a little more to it in the show than her hips.
And I feel I should mention that girl didn't really even have like, I don't know, hips. I wouldn't know.
She did look kind of like an anorexic
A bit stickly.
70s chick.
Yeah.
There was, I mean, like, there were some parts of it which could have, like, if it had gone further, like, could have been pretty good, like, the love scene. The love scene, if this movie just, like, went for it, and they're, like, the hard R went for it, they're rolling on the ceiling, the walls, and all that, with the Barry White playing, like, if it just totally fucking went for it, that could have been really fun, but they're fully clothed, and they're just kind of rolling around on the ceiling, and, like, that's it.
Well, and a lot of it, like you mentioned, like they're playing Barry White during that scene. Like all of the music is so on the fucking nose. I mean, Danny Elfman did like some of the musical direction for it, and I was honestly like, while we were coming over here, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna have one of those generic, like, is this the music from Batman or Beetlejuice type scores?
You talk about the Danny Elfman music.
Yeah.
But at least with Beetlejuice and Batman, though, those scores are memorable.
Well, yeah,
This
because you hear it
isn't.
every time there's a new movie.
Not even that. Like, when I saw Beetlejuice and Batman for the first time, like, I could remember that the next day. I could remember that as the days went on. Here, not really.
But then they
it
just
was
put
really
in
generic.
all these like classic, tunes of the day.
Well, I liked that.
Well, yeah, but like I say, it was just so on the nose. Although,
Well, come on. I mean, have you seen our movies? Come on.
Heart of Gold was a good choice. Okay, I'm just saying.
Oh, goddamn.
Like, but I mean, I didn't think they picked songs in this that were too on the nose. Like, I mean, if they had went like just straight like Bee Gees, KC and the Sunshine Band, okay,
Well,
but they picked stuff like Top of the World, Looking Down on Creation. They picked
Nights in White
Nights in White
That
Satin
one
at
was
the
good.
beginning.
That actually
Which,
worked
yeah, I
out
mean,
pretty good.
some of the choices were good, but a lot of
Yeah.
it just seemed like it was way too geared, like when they do like a Vietnam movie, and they
That's
choose
awesome.
and they choose all those songs to
Fortunate
specifically
Son.
remind
Credence,
you.
yeah.
Exactly.
All along the Watchtower.
Like that's what this seemed like it was trying to do, because like even like random shit, like every time they're having breakfast, there's a different like of the time box of cereal
I agree with
sitting
that.
on the
I
table.
totally agree with
It's like
you
they
there.
had to keep reminding you, like, by the way, it is the 70s.
It's like when they're in Michelle Pfeiffer's office and she's got Operation sitting on her table,
Yeah,
right? Like right
Operation,
next to
Rock'em
Rock'em Sock'em
Sock'em
Robots.
Robots,
I think
a
I saw
treasure-
a Mousetrap in there.
There was
like,
a treasure troll sitting
why
there.
would she
troll.
have that there?
Well, and the same
Like-
with who is it? Chloe Mertz's
Chloe Mertz,
room.
yeah.
Her room is just covered in like
70s
yeah,
rock
like
bands.
oh man, here's my Jimi Hendrix poster, my Iggy Pop poster.
Alice
My
Cooper.
Alice Cooper.
And then they threw Alice
She's
Cooper
got
in,
wide
yeah.
taste. She likes everything.
Yeah, if it came out,
if it came
then
out
she
in 72,
had it, yeah.
if
She had
it comes out in 72, she loves it. I could have really gotten behind this movie if they really kind of ditched trying to make it Dark Shadows, because like I said, you're fitting all these stories of these 8 characters from this long series into a movie that's less than 2 hours. That's why it has no characterization. But if they really kind of went for more like a Dracula 1972 AD approach to it, or
Yeah.
Blackula, or something like that, and tried going for that approach to something like this, I would have liked that. In fact, in the first 20 minutes of the movie, before Johnny Depp showed up in it, I was sort of sitting there like, I don't know, this might be okay if it kind of goes in that direction, you know? But then Johnny Depp turns up, and it just becomes another Johnny Depp character in this movie that really doesn't fit in very well.
Well, and the fact too, like the characters aren't really given a lot of depth, like you say. Yeah, there's a bunch of characters in it, but they're like set dressing. It's like, okay, well, we have all these empty chairs at this table. Let's put people in them.
Mm-hmm.
So like Chloe Moretz does nothing for the story. Fucking Eddie Munster does nothing for the story. Like, these are all just people who are there because they were in the show.
Well, and then in the end finale too, they end up throwing in all the character development, all the big reveals from the show, like, oh, right there. It was just like, oh, boom. Oh, by the way. You cannot do that.
No, it didn't even work there, too, because you throw in, like, this werewolf backstory with Chloe Moretz, so they have to stop in the middle of a fight scene to explain why that is.
And it feels like the sort of thing, like, you couldn't have thrown in any more development with her character, any mystery, any, like, bizarre little, like, side note, like somebody talking for 15 seconds to say, like Michelle Pfeiffer mentioning early on, like, oh, don't mind her, she always acts really distant. She always has been since she was bitten by something as a kid.
You know, she always kind of seems to disappear around the lunar cycle.
Yeah.
Hey, Clue. Hey, wait a minute.
It's so
maybe that's, it's so weird. And she's got all this raw meat in her room every once in a while. What is that?
Yeah, it comes across like they mentioned, like, oh, werewolf bit her when she was a kid. Okay. Boom. And Michelle Pfeiffer has this look on her face like this is the first time she's ever heard any of this. She's never noticed that her daughter is a werewolf, and would presumably, if you're going by the strictest of lunar cycles, 3 days every month? Yeah. Really, none of this ever clicked. Yeah. She's like, 15, 16?
Yeah.
Her character's supposed to be. Hasn't noticed this every month. Didn't notice when she was a baby? Like, oh, that's weird. I heard my baby crying. Nope, it's a wolf cub laying in a basket.
She seems to be really hairy now. Yeah. Maybe I should get her hair cut.
Maybe she's just hairy. Maybe she's just hairy because she's becoming a hippie. It's around the time.
That's true.
She's embracing the counterculture.
And there's shitty dialogue too during that scene. She like looks over at her mom, like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a werewolf.
That sucked.
Bark.
And then she jumps. Really? What the fuck was that? Just out of nowhere.
Sucked. It was out of nowhere. Like, I could have bought that line coming out of Johnny Depp's character, but no. Like, I don't know what else I don't know what else I got here.
Christopher Lee was arbitrarily in it because it was a Tim Burton.
Yeah. For like 5 seconds.
He was in it for
playing the captain from fucking Tintin,
playing an old crotchety Tim Burton character.
Yeah. And it was nice of them to put in as many cast members who were still alive from the original Dark Shadows as they could during the ball scene, and not giving them any lines. Just having like, here's a bunch of old people to shuffle in front of you. Welcome to Hollywood.
Oh, come on, man.
And then they just walk off.
Alice Cooper was great as the original Barnabas Collins. He got some lines in this. He got to sing "No More Mr. Nice Guy."
I love how they tried to do as much as they could to make Johnny Depp look smoothed out and younger. And they're like, hey, Alice Cooper, you look old as shit. Whatever.
Yeah, you're fine.
The glass effect I thought that they did on Eva Green at the end. I thought.
When
that was cool.
When it turned into Death Becomes Her.
I was thinking that too. Oh my god! I was sitting there like, Bruce Willis is gonna come out.
Yeah, when she gets shot right in the stomach, I'm like, fucking just do it now.
I was thinking the same fucking thing. I mean, and it was a good effect. I liked it, but I was thinking like when they put in Death Becomes Her, when they put that makeup on and they start like breaking apart and shit.
I'm just gonna leave this open because it's really hot.
Yes, that was what we call the Meryl Streep method acting.
Yeah. But then that effect in this though was kind of ruined when she reaches inside and pulls out the cartoon the most cartoonish looking heart that she possibly could have pulled out of herself.
And where was that in her? Because they kept like showing like obviously once the skin cracked away, that it was just nothing inside. She was just hollow,
floating around.
Apparently, yeah, just rumbling around in there. This giant, like, as she was pulling it out, I couldn't tell what the fuck it was supposed to be until like she holds it out and is like, oh, it is shaped like a heart.
It's a
not
heart
just
container from Zelda. She's like, here you go. You defeated me. You gained an extra life.
Like seriously, you guys couldn't find a fake heart. You couldn't find
and at
just
that
a
point,
heart.
They might as well have just not even made it look like an actual human heart. They might as well just made it like your classic like heart-shaped heart.
Yeah.
For all the fucking good it did to even show the damn thing.
That would have been kind of funny. But actually just looked like a
little heart.
fucking...
Yeah,
Property of Barnabas Collins.
Yeah, oh god. Fucking... That would have been as great as the part where he recites that song. What song was he reciting?
Joker.
At the, yeah.
like it was a
Steve
fucking
Miller.
sonnet.
Shakespeare couldn't have said it any better.
Yeah, that's Steve Miller. That's right there.
Steve
Yeah, it's
Miller.
Shakespeare and Steve Miller. Yeah. Okay. Oh man, what trailers do we get at this thing? Actually, you know what? The biggest surprise of the movie, the biggest surprise of this movie is that we didn't get the Frankenweenie trailer.
Yeah.
Kinda.
That is true.
We got Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. We got that.
Which I still want to see, but I think it's really, really good that I'm wagering that if you were in any other theater in any other city, that trailer would get like some good response. But here in Springfield, people watch that and it's like
they laugh,
busts out laughing, and people like guffawing. Like at the Avengers, there was some lady behind me that after they played that trailer was like I don't think that's gonna do well. That looked terrible.
Yeah, our audience was mostly teenage girls at this. It's got Johnny Depp in it. It would have been great to see this audience at the Rum Diary. Something like that. Yeah, it's this audience at the Libertine.
That would have been great.
We got a couple of really good ones. That Gangster Squad, or whatever it's called.
Looks so good.
Like that looks pretty. Until they start playing like this rap soundtrack in it, where I'm like, oh yeah, that's what L.A. Confidential was missing. That classic
that Jay-Z.
that classic 1930s rap.
Yeah, I mean, it made for a good trailer, but yeah, it was sort of thing like I wasn't even really like paying attention to the music, and then you pointed out I'm like, yeah, that does seem kind of anachronistic. What else we got?
Argo.
Argo
looks really
looks
good.
pretty
that
good
looks
too.
fucking great.
Yeah, Argo looks cool.
I saw like a picture of Affleck from when he started working on this one, and seeing him in like regular clothes with the sweet beard looked kind of weird. But then seeing him in this with like the actual like period attire, it's like, damn, that it looks pretty smooth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like that one's gonna be really fucking fun.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Since he started directing, Jesus Christ, he's seriously been doing shit that's like, he's doing some like fucking Oliver Stone shit really, between like Gone Baby Gone, The Town, and Argo that's coming out. Like it looks fucking good. We got a couple of other
Snow White, the Huntsman.
Snow White, What to Expect When You're Expecting.
Yeah.
Wait, Madagascar fucking 3.
Yeah.
God
He'll be at that while we're at
damn
Prometheus.
it.
Like you guys were kind of upset that you'll be at What to Expect When You're Expecting while next week. Or like I'm gonna be a battleship, so like I don't know what's gonna be worse.
God damn it.
Yeah,
At least yours will be nice and unintentionally funny. This will be trying to be funny and
just
failing.
fall in his face.
Yeah, that's true. Well, my final thought on Dark Shadows is I wasn't mad. I just didn't really care, you know, like I didn't have like any kind of extreme hatred for it. I'm just gonna forget about it as time goes on. And by time, I mean a couple of days. So like that was my reaction to it.
Yeah, it struck me how they couldn't figure out what type of movie they wanted to make. You know, first you got the expeditional dialogue movie, then you've got the sight gag comedy movie, Fish Out of Water, then it gets dark. Oh, then we're switching back to a comedy. Oh, but wait, I'm going to kill a few more people. Oh, we're going to be comedy. And then they're just going to throw in all the reveals from the show just right there in the last 10 minutes. It just, it didn't work right. I mean, it wasn't a horrible movie. I've seen a lot worse, but it just didn't work. It just didn't.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
There's no way you're disappointed. Like,
No,
you went into this.
It's pretty. I should say it did come out being the movie I thought it was going to be. It's not a good one. I didn't figure it would be. No, I just figure, there are options out there. The Bing Cross series, you can pick it up for like the whole series in a box set for like $10 at Target.
Yeah.
The original Dark Shadows are putting out that ridiculous 130 disc collector set for that.
Good fucking.
I mean, hell, on Netflix it picks up with like episode 200 something where Barnabas is introduced to the show. So you know what? Just skip
Start
to there,
there.
and it's
Yeah.
like you're watching this movie, but it's better.
Yeah.
Honestly, like.
And this doesn't have Johnny Depp in it.
And the biggest thing that I hated, and this is going to be the stupidest thing, but the biggest thing that I hated about this movie was the fact that the main thing that it didn't capture from the show was like the rushed, almost live feel of the show, because there were no hilarious fuck-ups every time you turned around. Like, watching this movie, never once did I see a cameraman walk in front of the camera.
Or a boom
mic.
in his face.
Or
boom mic falling
somebody
down.
close a door that's to a stone wall and the whole thing shakes. You know, like honestly, like that's one of the things that I felt gave it charm. You know, the fact that like you'd have a character standing there not saying a damn thing until some like stagehand yells out something like last night at dinner. Like.
If they went like Black Dynamite with the movie or something like
Exactly.
that.
Like if
They're gonna do it as a comedy.
just
Go all out.
fucking go for it. If they
Yeah.
had made this the most goof-ridden thing ever, I would have been more than happy. As it was, I don't know.
It's a mixture of comedy and
Yeah.
horror, and it didn't go good.
It failed at both. It failed, in my opinion, as a Tim Burton movie. I mean, it had
It's
all
better
the,
than Alice in Wonderland.
well, true, but that just failed at life. But no, it felt so goddamn formulaic. Like it felt like it's like, okay, it's a Burton movie, so we have Helena Bonham Carter plus Johnny Depp plus a sprinkle of Christopher Lee. Have like some vibrant colors and a lot of dark tones.
Danny
and
Elfman.
yeah, I mean it had all of the pieces, and it still failed. Like I don't see me ever rewatching this. This movie's getting no second chances. Like there are good movies I've never watched again. There's no chance I will ever see this again.
Yeah, no, I'm
And I will die happy.
Jillian
knowing
wants to
that.
see it. She can watch it. All right. So we'll actually be back a couple of times next week because the Dictator's getting like a midweek release, and then
Weird.
yeah, and then we'll be seeing.
The Coen movie gets a midweek release, not Battleship.
You want to make sure that they have the Dictator out there as long as possible. Try to really
Exactly.
capture that market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, I'm surprised that the Avengers wasn't like released on a Tuesday. Like it wasn't Iron Man. Like I remember that one came out like they're like it'll be out on like a Thursday at midnight
that's
or
always-
Wednesday or like
that's always
Tuesday
a
like 2 in the
crapshoot.
afternoon.
Yeah.
That's always a crapshoot on that. I remember last year Transformers 3 came out like on a Wednesday or something
Yeah.
like that. But so we've got that, and then by week's end will be Battleship and What to Expect When You're Expecting. All right. We'll see you then.
Adios.